Welcome everyone, Mr. Valentino. I am going to be your child's IB Math 11th grade application and interpretations teacher this year. Aren't you glad enough to run across the street to get here? That's at least one plus of this type of back to school night. Anyway, let's get into this. A little bit about myself. I graduated from Rutgers College of Engineering 2001 with a degree in ceramic materials and engineering. I specialize in designing fiber optics and lasers, both really thin glass tubes that transmit either lasers, which transmit information, or transmit a lot of power. Then I started to go into getting a master's in manufacturing engineering. About halfway through that, I decided I couldn't see myself doing it in the future. Ended up going alternate route and becoming a high school teacher at Linden High School. In 2012, I got a master's from Seton Hall University in instructional design, which pretty much teaches you how to teach classes with a computer. So it was very valuable for me right now to have during this time. And I also have a technology certificate. I actually have my master's plus 30, so I have 30 more credits in more technology classes from other colleges, and some more certifications, but these are the main ones. Also an Apple teacher, as are all the teachers in the school, but me in particular, I'm part of the Vanguard, which is the set of teachers that pretty much teaches all the teachers how to use all this technology. A little bit more about myself. I've been teaching here since 2004, 16 years. I started with Algebra 2, taught geometry for 15 years. This is my first year not teaching geometry. I gave it up for the IB class. I teach calculus. This is my 7th year teaching calculus. I teach a class called Process Technology. It's my 5th year teaching that. That's a class seniors take if they want to join a process technology field, which is pretty much working over in Bayway, the refinery, either working in the field or working in like a chemical manufacturing industry, similar to that. This is my first year of teaching the IB class. I recently had been certified, got my IB certificate over the summer, and know a bunch about the class that I never knew. So it was actually very interesting. I'm very happy to be a part of the IB program now. I'm also a wrestling coach here. I currently am a assistant for the high school. I also coach the middle school at times, and have been coaching in some aspect or another here since 2006. So that's me. Always good to know who's teaching your kids. All right, so IB learner profile. This is very important. The way this class is taught, now virtually teaching it isn't as optimal as teaching it in person, and that goes for all the classes, but we do the best we can. I think I'm getting the most out of the students as I can this way, and when we come back, obviously it'll be a little different, but the approach to IB is just a tad different than approach to teaching a normal classroom. This one, what you want to really deal with is the theory of knowledge, creativity, activity, service. It's taking what we're doing and not just like going rote, going word for word, just memorizing things and repeating them verbatim. It's discovering how to do the processes that we do. It's teaching students to come up with solutions of their own, of models of their own, to solve these problems, to relate these problems that we're doing in math class to other subjects, to culture, to other countries. And this is a class that's taught all over the globe. Okay, it's not particular to one section of the country, just our country. It's global, all right? And it just relates everyone together, but that's what the IB program is, so you guys probably already know that. Now, here are the goals of my class. I'll try to keep this short. Introduce students to the philosophy of the IB classroom. Just explain that. They enjoy coming to class every day. There are a lot of useful information that they learn. They're going to learn a bunch of useful stuff. They are going to be prepared to take the second half of the class next year. This is the first half of the class. I go in a book of about 17 chapters. My goal is to cover 9 chapters. Virtually, you may not think we go as fast, but I think, I could be wrong, because like I said, this is my first year teaching. I'm going at a pace that's very similar, if not to the same as if we were in the classroom. I am streamlining a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, I have to cut out some of the creativity and some of the interactive things that we would do in class, activities and investigations, but we're going to be prepared. They're still going to be prepared no matter what, even if we have to do this all year, which please, I don't think we will, for next year. All right? What is IB Math and Interpretation? What is the class? I never heard of this class before. Did you? Before this year, I had no clue what it meant. You're going to recognize the role that mathematics and teaching play in the world, emphasize the meaning of mathematics by focusing on topics that are used in applications of mathematical models, and it gives a firm base of mathematical knowledge. So it's going to give them a good grasp on everything involving in math, all the subjects, and where they're actually going to use it. That's the key, the applications. How do I apply all this math that I know? How we're going to learn it? A bunch of use of technology. We're going to explore and construct some mathematical models. We're going to develop mathematical thinking. We're going to retrain the brain on how to think mathematically and use some technology to justify conjectures, okay? The program that's given to us in the book has a bunch of great activities that we can use, and it has a bunch of great like apps that will help justify all the math you're doing. Now, there's two types of math, IB maths, for the 11th graders and 12th graders. There is AI and AA. The AI is a little bit easier. The AA covers a lot more material and gets a little more intense as far as math goes. They both enjoy seeing mathematics used in real world problems. HL, which is the AA class, this used to be SL and HL, this is HL. They have to have really good algebraic skills, experience in solving world problems, that word. They also are for students, the upper level, for students who get a lot of pleasure and comfortable and get a lot of satisfactory exploring really challenging problems. So they go a little bit above and beyond what we do, okay? Like I said, they cover pretty much a half a book more in the 2 years than we would cover in the 2 years. Both classes are really good though. They're some of the 2 highest classes in the school. Topics we covered, we both cover about the same topics. They get a little more intense in the calculus, I believe. Numbers algebra, calculus, stats, trig, functions, okay, approximation, quantity. All right, we cover all that stuff. How do we do it? Theory of knowledge, creativity, approaches to teaching, international mindedness. So, pretty much what we're going to cover. Right now, we're in depth in numbers and algebra, functions, geometry, trigonometry, statistics, probability, and calculus. This year, we cover pretty much the first 3, touch on the 4th one. These are the chapters that we cover. All right, we're almost done with approximation and error. We have our first test coming up, which will be on Canvas, because right now everything's on Canvas. Then we get into things like loans and annuities, very good, very useful. Functions modeling, statistics, quadratic functions, inverse variations, exponential, logarithmic, trig functions. This is all stuff they've either done before or they would have learned in pre-calculus anyway. So, nothing special this year. How this is graded, there's no quizzes I give this year, and I won't give quizzes even when we come back. But typically, the way the math model works for every math class, chapter tests, unit tests are 25%, smaller tests and quizzes are 30%, classwork homework's 35%. Being that I don't give quizzes, I can't really do a 25-35 model, so I kind of combine those two. And as we're going through Canvas, where everything's going to be graded, pretty much what I'm going to do is like a 50-50 split. The tests on Canvas, 50%. Homework, classwork, which is pretty much, they're uploading the notes that we do in class. And there really are no do-nows yet because we're not in school and we're trying to save a little time. So we take care of that just as soon as we're in class. In the class, how it's run. Students follow along with the lessons I teach in their books. Okay, they all have been given books, so the books are online. We go through each part of the book, and I have a PowerPoint that explains it all to them. They themselves help come up with concepts and rules to solve the problems. Then they do a bunch of example problems. We go over the example problems step by step, or I go over them step by step. We repeat the situation, and then once we're done with the lesson, we upload they upload all their completed notes to Canvas. They get an A+ on them because everyone has been doing all their work and they have been doing it excellently, and we're done. Pretty easy. But the reason I use a PowerPoint instead of a board is everything I would have wrote on the board is done on my PowerPoints, and it's all colorful, it's all animated, it's great. Ask them. They can tell you. They better say it's great. Virtual advantages. There are some advantages, tons of disadvantages to teaching virtual. The interaction is the worst part, not having that. The being able to work in groups, another one. But every second of every one of my lessons, I uploaded to YouTube. Okay, so what I'm showing you right now is it's in YouTube. That's how all the lessons are. How I would have taught every single lesson the exact way on YouTube. Every step of every problem, I also uploaded on Canvas as a PDF. So every bit of notes that they will take, every note from every book, even if we don't cover it, even if we don't get it, if it's extra, will be on Canvas for them to look back on. I have students in my calculus class from last year that are still looking at my YouTube videos that I made over the summer, and I had to make more this year just to try to cover all my classes in calculus. I'm still helping them out. I'm still sending them the PDFs and stuff because they said it helps them a little bit in college just to get accustomed, because once you go there, everything is crazy. This is how the students navigate the class. I have syllabuses on Canvas, and this is what they would see. I have it used to have nice buttons and pictures, but they would never come up on the computers. They don't come up as question marks. So now I just left them as words with links. Right here, they would upload their notes on this first column, which they all know how to do. This tells them what pages in the book we're doing. This is a link to the videos on YouTube, so they can actually follow my lessons on YouTube on their own anytime they want. This tells us what days we're doing what, so it's like the syllabus. So on these days, we're doing this. On these days, we're doing this. And then these are all the PDFs of the notes, all the uploaded notes. They click on here, they get all the notes from the lesson. So everything's right there for them, nice and easy, just a click of the mouse, and they're good. And that's it. That's all I really have to say today. Hopefully, you get here. Let me get, so I'm not in the dark. Hopefully, you guys got some knowledge of what's in the class, what they should be doing in the class. As far as if you're wondering about homework and stuff like that, or we're going virtual, typically there's not going to be. I did set up a reminder for them to show that, so anything that's due, they will get a text that tells them, or any test that's coming up, they will get one. Anytime we do take a test, we review before it. And that's it. Like I said, this is the first year of me teaching this class, and it's virtual, so we will go through some rough patches maybe, but we'll fix it, and we'll get through it. And hopefully they will be back in class sooner than later, and I will get to meet all you guys someday. All right, so thank you for coming to my back to school night, and have a great rest of the night.